The primary focus of SOLAS Chapter 2-1 is to establish safety standards for machinery and electrical installations on ships to ensure the safety of the vessel, crew, passengers, and cargo.
This section sets out the general requirements for machinery installations, ensuring that machinery is installed and maintained to guarantee the safety and operational efficiency of the ship. Proper installation and maintenance of machinery are crucial for the reliable operation of the ship. Main and auxiliary machinery, ensuring the reliability of main and auxiliary machinery. This regulation specifies standards for their construction, installation, and maintenance. Reliable machinery is essential for the safe and efficient operation of the ship, especially in emergencies. Electrical installations. This regulation ensures the safety and reliability of electrical systems on board. It sets out requirements for the installation, protection, and maintenance of electrical equipment, which are vital for the ship's operations and safety systems. Emergency source of electrical power. Ensuring the availability of emergency electrical power is the focus here. The regulation specifies the capacity, location, and protection of emergency power sources to ensure that critical systems remain operational during emergencies. Part D. Electrical installations. Safety and reliability. Electrical systems must be safe, reliable, and designed to prevent electric shocks, fires, and equipment failures. Main power system. Ships require a main electrical system capable of powering essential services such as propulsion, steering, lighting, navigation, and communication. Emergency power source. An independent emergency power supply is mandatory to ensure critical systems, like fire pumps, alarms, and emergency lighting, operate during main power failures. System protection. Protective devices like circuit breakers and fuses are essential to guard against short circuits, overloads, and system damage. Redundancy. Systems must include redundancy to ensure continued functionality. Quality standards. Electrical installations must comply with international safety standards. Accessibility. Equipment must be installed in accessible locations for safe maintenance and inspection. Lighting requirements. Adequate lighting must be maintained in both normal and emergency situations. Fire safety. Electrical installations should be designed to minimize fire hazards. Part E. Additional requirements for periodically unattended machinery spaces. Automation and safety. Machinery must be equipped with automation and monitoring systems. Fire detection. An automatic fire detection and alarm system must be installed. Alarm systems. Audible and visual alarm systems must be available. Remote monitoring. Critical machinery and systems, such as propulsion and electrical power, must be remotely monitored and controlled from the bridge or a centralized control room. Automatic shutdowns. Systems should include automatic shutdown mechanisms for equipment in case of critical faults or dangerous operating conditions. Emergency control. Facilities must enable manual intervention and override of automated systems. Leakage detection. Monitoring systems must detect leaks in fuel, lubricating oil, and other fluids. Protections. Safeguards like temperature, pressure, and speed limiters are required. Inspection and maintenance. Regular inspection and testing of automated systems and alarms. Redundancy. Backup systems must be in place to maintain critical functions. Part F. Alternative design and arrangements. Flexibility. Allows ships to use alternative designs and arrangements that deviate from prescriptive requirements, provided they meet equivalent safety levels. Performance-based approach. Focuses on achieving safety objectives rather than adhering strictly to traditional design rules. Approval process. Proposals for alternative designs must be submitted to the Flag State Administration for review and approval. Risk assessment. A detailed engineering analysis and risk assessment must demonstrate that the alternative design offers equivalent or superior safety compared to standard requirements. Documentation. Comprehensive documentation, including design details, safety assessments, and verification plans, must be provided. Testing and validation. Alternative systems or arrangements must undergo testing and validation to ensure compliance with safety standards. Operational guidelines. Clear operational and maintenance instructions must accompany alternative systems to ensure consistent safety performance. Part G. ships using low flashpoint fuels. Scope applies to ships using fuels with a flashpoint below 60 degrees Celsius, ensuring enhanced safety measures. IGF code compliance, mandatory compliance with the International Code of Safety for ships using gases or other low flashpoint fuels, IGF code, to standardize safety practices. Structural requirements, requirements for structural integrity to handle low flashpoint fuels safely. Subdivision and stability, requirements to maintain stability and prevent fuel leakage or spillage. Machinery and electrical installations, special guidelines for machinery spaces and electrical installations to prevent ignition of low flashpoint fuels. Alternative design, flexibility for alternative designs and arrangements with equivalent level of safety.
Machinery installation on ships or offshore platform, focusing on engines, pumps, steering gear, and redundancy. Number 1. Engine types. Main engines provide propulsion power. Common two-stroke diesel engine for large ships. Auxiliary engine provide electrical power via generators. Insulation consideration. Proper alignment with shaft. Vibration isolation. Assess for maintenance and overhaul. Cooling system. Seawater and freshwater circuit. Fuel system. Bunkering treatment. Purifies daily service tanks. Redundancy. Multiple auxiliary engine to ensure continuous power. Emergency generator in a separate fire insulated compartment. Number 2. Pumps. Type of pumps. Centrifugal. Most common for seawater, ballast, and cooling. Positive displacement. Gear, screw, piston, or fuel oil, lube oil. Key system using pump. Ballast system, firefighting system, cooling system, HT and LT. Bridge and sludge system. Fuel transfer and treatment. Lube oil circulation. Installation consideration. Priming arrangement. Remote operation from control room. Proper suction and discharge pipe support. Easy access for maintenance. Redundancy. At least 2 pumps per vital system. Which 5 pumps. Often duty and standby. Configuration. Emergency fire pumps in isolated space. Steering gear types. Electro-hydraulic ram type. Common or medium large vessel. Rotary vane type. Compact less space. Installation features. Located in steering gear room at the aft. Hydraulic pump powered by electric motors. Manual and automatic mode. Local in control. In addition to bridge control. Redundancy. 2 independent steering system as per SOLAS. 2 pumps, 1 operational and 1 standby. Emergency steering. Steering arrangement, manual or assisted. Manual or power assisted. Independent power supply. Main and emergency bus. Number 4. Redundancy. General principle. Purpose. Ensure critical system remain operational during failure or emergency. Example of redundant system. engines, multiple genset separate cooling loops, pumps, dual setup with auto start on failure, steering gear, dual pumps, emergency manual operation, power supply, emergency switchboard and generator, fire system, emergency fire pumps and backup system, regulation and guidelines, SOLAS, safety of life at the sea, classification societies, IMO, International Maritime Organization.
Hi, I'm Risbert Nandinabong. I'm here to discuss the SOLAS Chapter 2-1, Machinery and Electrical Installation, Fire, Explosion, and Safety Machinery in Space. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, Chapter 2-1, addressing requirements for the machinery and electrical installation on ship to ensure the safety, including prevention on fire and explosion. Key aspect 1. Machinery space. Regulation cover design, operation, and safety and of machinery space like engine rooms. 2. Fire protection. Measuring the prevent, detect, and extinguish fire in machinery space. 3. Explosion prevention. Required to mitigate explosion risk, particularly in areas with flammable and substance. Safety equipment. Mandates. Safety equipment. Mandates and system like firefighting system, alarms. 5. Electrical installation. Standards for safe electrical system on board. Machinery space. Consideration. Ventilation required for safety firefighting system like fixed fire extinguisher system for machinery space. Tapos, fire safety measure. Number 1, detection system, fire detection and alarms. Extinguish system, like CO2 system for machinery space. 3. Fire resistant, boundaries, structural fire protection. 4. Portable extinguisher, availability for use. Explosion hazard, flammable liquid gases, handling and storage regulation. Ventilation monitoring to reduce risk. Electrical safety. Electrical safety. 1. Installation standard. Safety design. Installation practice. Protection against hazard like short circuit. 3. Emergency power. Requirements for backup power. Regulatory compliance. SOLAS requirements mandatory for ship to comply and applicable regulation. Wala nang boses. Classification societies involved in verification. Safety objects prevent harm, protects crew, passengers, ship, minimize damage, limit fire, explosion, impact. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone. Today I'll be explaining the basic concept of electrical system focusing on 4 important parts: the main power distribution, the emergency generator, and the battery backup. So let's start with the main power. This is primary source of electricity that runs everything in facility, building, or even a ship on land. The main power often comes from electrical grid, while on a ship it usually comes from onboard diesel generators. The main power is responsible for supplying electricity to all major systems we need for normal operation, such as lighting, machine, communication, system, and even propulsion in the case of ship. Without a stable main power supply, day-to-day operation would not be possible. Next, we have the power distribution system. Think of this like the veins in the human's body that carry blood. The distribution system takes the electricity from the main power source and delivers it to the different parts of the facility. This is done through switchboard, transformers, circuit breakers, and cables. It doesn't just pass electricity around. It also controls the voltage, ensures safety, and protects the equipment from the damage if something goes wrong, such as an overload or short circuit. In short, it makes sure the power delivered efficiently and safely. Now, let's move on to the emergency generator. This is the most important safety feature in any electrical system. Imagine what would happen if the main power suddenly fails. Everything would shut down instantly, which could be dangerous, especially on a ship or in a hospital. That's why we have emergency generator. It is designed to automatically start with the main power it lost. The emergency generator doesn't power everything, but it supplies electricity to the most critical systems like emergency lighting, communication system, power pumps, and navigational equipment. This ensures the safety and essential operation continue even during a blackout. Finally, we have the battery. Batteries act the last line of defense. They are always standby and provide power instantly when both the main power and the emergency generator are unavailable or before the emergency generator starts up. Battery backup are usually connected to very critical systems such as alarm, control panels, and communication device. Their supply times is limited, maybe minutes to an hour, but it's enough to keep essential system alive until the emergency generator takes over. So, to sum it all up, the main power runs the normal operation. The distribution system delivers its safety. The emergency generator serves as backup during blackouts. And the battery backup gives immediate short-term electricity when the everything fails together. These four elements ensure that the electrical system remains reliable and safe no matter what happens. That's it. Thank you.
Good day everyone. Today I'll be talking about a topic under machinery and electrical installation, and that is emergency lighting, communication, and alarms. These systems are designed to protect people in case of emergency like power failures, fires, or equipment malfunctions. Sila yung backup safety systems na nagtitake over kapag nagpifail ang normal power or operations. Let's start with emergency lighting. The main purpose of this system is to make sure people can still see and move safely even if the main power supply is lost. Kasi kung madilim, ang mga tao ay pwedeng mag-panic or mag-cause ng accidents or pwedeng magkaroon ng delay sa evacuation. There are three main types, which is escape route lighting, open area or anti-panic lighting, high-risk task lighting. First is escape route lighting. These are lights installed along hallways, stairways, and exit doors, guiding people to safety. Next is open area or anti-panic lighting. Used in large spaces like machinery rooms or halls para hindi magpanik ang tao at makita pa rin nila ang paligid. And last is high-risk task lighting. Placed in areas where people operate dangerous equipment so they can still shut down machinery safely during a blackout. Usually, emergency lights get power from emergency generators or battery packs, and they must switch on automatically kapag nawalan ng kuryente. Ito yung required na mag-last from 30 minutes or up to 3 hours, depending on safety regulations. So overall, emergency lighting is about guiding people to safety and reducing accidents during emergency. Next is emergency communication. This system is very important because during emergency, people need clear instructions. Kahit may ilaw at alarm, kung walang communication, it can cause confusions. Some examples are public address systems or PA systems. Ito yung announcement through loudspeakers na maririnig ng marami. Sound-powered telephones or intercoms. Ito naman yung mga commonly na ginagamit sa ships kasi it works even without electricity. Two-way radios. Ito yung portable devices used for emergency response teams. And kapag lahat ay nag-fails, merong backup signals like flashing lights or handheld megaphones. The key here is that emergency communication must be clear, understandable, and supported by backup power. Kasi sa oras ng emergency, every second counts. Hindi pwedeng may miscommunication. Finally, let's talk about emergency alarms. Alarms are the warning systems that immediately alert people when something is wrong. Dapat mabilis marinig at mabilis maintindihan. Different alarms have different meanings. General alarm tells everyone to go muster stations. Fire alarm activated by detectors or manual call points kapag may sunog. Flooding or water ingress alarm warns that water is entering a compartment. Machinery alarms show problems like overheating or low oil pressures. And lastly, abandoned ship alarm, a special pattern of 7 short blasts and 1 long blast. Alarms must be loud enough even in noisy areas, and sometimes they come with flashing lights for visibility. Importantly, each alarm must be distinct so people won't confuse a fire alarm with the machinery alarm. And to summarize, emergency lighting gives visibility and safe evacuation. Emergency communication deliver clear instructions and coordination. And lastly, emergency alarms provide immediate warning so people can respond properly. When these three systems work together, they form the backbone of safety in machinery and electrical installations. They save lives, reduce panic, and make sure emergencies are handled in an organized way. That's all. Thank you.
Real-life accident caused by machinery and electrical failures on the ships can be very devastating, highlighting the importance of safety protocols and proper maintenance. Here's a notable accident: engine and machinery failures ocean navigators accident. A passenger vessel in Portland, Maine experienced a catastrophic mechanical failure of its number 2 auxiliary diesel generator engine in 2023, leading to an engine room fire. Debris in the engine loop oil system was blamed, injuring one crew member and causing a $2.4 million damage. Engine fail. A diesel generator set failed from a trailer at a refinery due to inadequate securing, causing significant damage to components like the exhaust pipe, pre-lubricating oil pump, and elastic mounting. The darkness of the engine room was shattered by the flames as the Ocean Navigator's auxiliary diesel generator failed catastrophically in Portland. Debris clogging the lube oil system ignited a fierce fire that danced across piping and wiring. It's a cloud and smoke beating the air. One crew member was caught in the chaos, injured amidst the scramble to contain the blaze. As alarm blade and emergency protocols kicked in, the toll was start with the $2.4 million in damage, a harsh testament to the vulnerability of the complex machinery when maintenance is falters. Elsewhere, at a refinery dock, a diesel generator toppled from the trailer like a fallen giant. Is an exhaust pipe come beneath the weight, pre-lubricating oil pump magnet, elastic mounting shattered. The scene spoke of securing gone wrong, a lapse that turned potential into calamity. Investigators would later trace the incident to inadequate tie-downs, a mistake that turned kinetic energy into destructive force. Machinery failures like this echo through maritime corridors, whispering urgent tales of maintenance and vigilance. They remind crews and engineers alike that the sea tolerates little slack. In the unforgiving world of ships, systems intertwine like threads and a critical loom, lube oil plows, generator hums, steering gears, all demanding respects. Fail one link and chaos may unfurl. The ocean navigator's fire and refinery falling legionary stands as a dark sentiments, guarding a lessons on diligence in the maritime industry.
Good day everyone. Today I'll be discussing safety measures and preventive maintenance in machinery and electrical installations. These two are very important kasi kahit gaano ka-advanced ang equipment, if we neglect safety and maintenance, it can result in accidents, breakdowns, or even serious financial and operational losses. For example, isang maliit na short circuit lang sa electrical panel can cause fire that damages the whole system. Or isang machine part na hindi na lubricate ng tama can stop production for hours or even days. So in this discussion, I divide it into two parts. First, safety measures, and second, preventive maintenance. At the end, we see how they work hand in hand to protect both people and equipment. Part 1. Safety measures. These are precautions and practices that prevent hazards in workplaces where machinery and electrical systems are operating. Personal protective equipment, or PPE. This is always the first line of defense. Workers should wear insulated gloves, hard hats, safety shoes, ear protection, and goggles. Sa Tagalog, sabi nga natin, unang protection to laban sa electrical shocks, burn, loud noise, or falling objects. A simple pair of safety shoes can prevent electrocution if there's accidental contact with live wires. Next, lockout, tag-out, or LOTO. This is a procedure to make sure equipment is completely disconnected from power before repair or servicing. Ang process ay simple pero life-saving. We lock the switches or circuit breakers and we tag them with warnings para siguradong walang accidental energizing habang may tao na nagtatrabaho. May mga documented cases worldwide where lockout, LOTO or LOTO resulted in workers being electrocuted, kaya critical ito. Next, training and competence. Worker must not only know how to operate machines but also how to recognize risks and respond to emergencies. Training should be continuous kasi technology advances or evolves. Hindi pwede yung trial and error approach. For example, an untrained worker setting a trip breaker might worsen the fault or cause of harm. Next is safe work environment. The workplace itself must be hazard-proof. Electrical rooms should be dry, clean, and free from clutter. Wires should be organized and circuits properly labeled. Warning signs must be visible. Machinery areas need good ventilation to avoid overheating or build-up of toxic fumes. Fire extinguishers, first aid kits, and emergency exits should always be clear and accessible. Next is emergency preparedness. Even with strong safety practices, accidents can still happen. That's why alarms, emergency lightnings, and communication systems should always be functional. Regular fire drills and evacuation exercise train people for what to do kung sakaling may mangyaring hindi inaasahan. A good safety culture is not only about avoiding accidents, but also being ready when they happen. So overall, safety measures are not just for compliance with regulations. They're about protecting lives, assets, and the continuity of operations. Now, let's move to preventive maintenance. or PM. This is the planned, proactive approach to avoid sudden breakdowns and keep system efficiency. First, we have regular inspections. Machines and electrical systems must be inspected daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on their usage. Checking for loose wires, overheating, or unusual vibrations help detect problems early. For example, spotting a small oil leak before it spreads can prevent catastrophic motor failure. And next, cleaning and lubrication. Dust and dirt inside electrical panels may cause overheating or short circuits. Meanwhile, lack of lubrication in fittings or moving parts increases friction, leading to breakdown. Kaya simple cleaning and lubrication, kahit routine lang, makes a huge difference in equipment lifespan. Testing and calibration. Circuit breakers, relays, and sensors should be tested regularly to confirm they respond correctly during abnormal conditions like overloads. Calibration of meters and protective devices is also critical kasi kapag mali ang reader ng voltmeter or pressure gauge, the system may be operating unsafely without anyone noticing. Documentation. Every maintenance task must be recorded. Maintenance logs give us a clear history of inspection and repairs. This helps in identify recurring issues, plan future activities, and even comply with legal requirements. Documentation is also evidence of accountability and good practice. The greatest benefit of preventive maintenance is reliability and cost savings. In short, you spend the small amounts now on regular care instead of facing huge repair costs and lost production later. Integration and conclusion. To wrap up, safety measures and preventive maintenance always go together. Safety ensures the protection of people and facilities, while preventive maintenance ensures efficiency and the reliability of equipment. When combined, they help us reduce accidents, minimize downtime, and extends the service life of machinery and electrical installations. So always remember, safety first and prevention is better than cure. Thank you.